Hopefulness 2.0, April 30th. And this video is being recorded at almost midnight. I was busy with, I was making banana bread. Then I was helping some people out on EverQuest, and then an earthquake happened in the game, so it was like, oh, okay, let's spend the next 6 hours doing some stuff. I don't know why it is that it feels like my throat just wants to shut off at this time of night. I don't know what it is. It's not like I've been using it all day. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I haven't been using it all day. I'm not sure. It's almost like it dries out, but that's not really the case either. I don't know what it is. It's also that, whatever that is. Hello, ladies. Like, I couldn't do that all day if I wanted to. Or I could barely do it now if I wanted to, rather. I don't know, it's a strange thing. And I've noticed that it has happened more and more recently. What it is specifically, I don't know. I'm sure it has something to do with aging. I don't know. But, you know, the funny thing is, it's not it has more to do with, at least from what I can tell, based on sound and everything else, that it has more to do with, like, the pharynx, the region, like, just above the vocal folds, for the most part, more than anything else. It doesn't feel like inflammation or anything. It feels more like drying, which is a possibility, even though I drink on a pretty regular basis. So I don't really know. It's weird. It's an interesting. It's interesting. It's almost like, I don't know. I mean, there's a reason why I have to, like, clear it out, as it were, so it's kind of like a thickening, I suppose. Which is another thing that I understand with aging. You know, there's, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of the sloughing off of stuff. It could also be the air. I don't know. Because Los Angeles air is really dry. And so it does its thing to me. So I'm not really sure. But, yeah. That's the thing. You know, I did that video last night, and then, of course, the video cut off. But it made me realize a couple of things. You know, when I was eating the tacos, and I ate all of them because they were delicious. The onions and peppers reminded me of, like, when my mother would do fajitas, and, like, they were cooked down enough in a way, you know, because of the way I don't do the whole, like, fresh onions thing. Like, I can't stand that shit. It's not a flavor, it's not a sensation that I like. But cooked down onions, even when they're not super jammy, you know, when they're, like, heavily caramelized, still good. Like, even when they have a little bit of toothiness to them, they have a little bit of bite. And, you know, I was surprised that I was able to make it in a way that kind of had that nostalgic feeling. And I'm like, well, might have to maybe cook some more onions on a regular basis with the, you know, get some bell peppers or whatever, you know, some other types of peppers. I don't know exactly what kind of pepper that was. Let me see here. So it was just a long green pepper, is what it says. That's fucking stupid. There's got to be, there's no way that was just a normal everyday pepper. I don't know, maybe it was. It was super skinny. But if that's the case, then whatever. But yeah, I had to toss out the cilantro because I don't eat the stuff. Literally the only time I've ever eaten cilantro and I was like, wow, I don't taste the soap, is when I had ceviche. When I was working at iHeart, I was talking to one of the hosts of Real. It's 93.5, 93. I can't remember. 92.5. It's the rap hip hop station. And I was talking to her briefly about it and everything, and she'd mentioned it. And I was like, I've never had ceviche. I'm not even sure what that is. She's like, what? So, we get a little talking, get a little bit more into it and everything, and she's like, I was like, well, what's in it? And it's like, it's like, it's basically, raw fish with, like some lime juice or whatever, some cilantro. And I'm like, well, wait, hold on, cilantro? I'm not sure about that. She's like, well, you still gotta try it at least. I'm like, okay, but I don't know when I'll ever do that because, me showing my hesitation, at one point she's like, look, I'll hook you up. There's this place that I like going to. It's really good. Next time we're in at the same time, blah, 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 I'll bring you some. I was like, all right, that sounds cool. Not really thinking anything from it. And then, we kind of cross paths every now and then. And, like, more than anything, like, I wasn't expecting anything. But, like, every time she would see me, she's like, I forgot your cilantro today. I was going to get some. And I totally forgot, blah, blah. I'm like, that's cool. It's like, no rush, no hurry, nothing like that. And I want to say it was probably like another 2 or 3 weeks later, after the first conversation. One day I'm just chilling there, and she walks over and just like sticks it right in front of me. I'm like, what's this? She's like, here's your, or not cilantro, but ceviche. She's like, there's your ceviche. I was like, oh, cool. What do we got? She's like, well, we got fish, and then we got shrimp. And she's like, I really like the shrimp. I ended up liking the fish more. Shrimp was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad though, but it just like the combination of flavors and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me see, trying to think, because I wasn't expecting it that day or anything. And I don't remember exactly what I did. I may have brought it home. I may have left it in the fridge up there. I'm not sure, but I think I left it there. And then I think that, like, through happenstance of some kind or another, there were tortilla chips that were somehow involved with their presence at the, because occasionally they would, have people bring food up there. There would be some kind of catering or some kind of party or whatever that would be up there. And a lot of times there would be a lot of leftover food. Now, it was usually slim pickings by the time I got there because, party started at like noon and I would get there at like 10. Sometimes the food was just not worth picking up. Sometimes, there was stuff that it was like, it was properly sealed and everything. It was stuck in the fridge or whatever. There was just food that was available. Egg salad, for instance, I think was a thing that happened, or maybe it was potato salad. And it was still good, and it was really good. And so, there just happened to be some tortilla chips, and I was like, all right, cool. Let's take some of these tortilla chips and dip them in a ceviche. Kind of scoop it up and see how it is. Because, I wasn't really sure exactly how you're supposed to eat this stuff. And it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't taste the cilantro in it. There's it was much more acidic, which, sort of helps chemically cook the raw fish, which is a good thing because, the last thing you want to do is allow that shit to be raw and then, get sick off of it. Oh, man. But yeah, so that was interesting. It's fascinating. But literally the only time I've ever had cilantro, and I've not been able to taste it. And I mean, even then, it still took me a couple of days to finish it up because, you know, I just wasn't sure. I don't even remember why it took me so long. It wasn't that it was bad again. Like, I think part of it was also like I was trying to adapt other things to it. So like one day I brought some sour cream with me, and another day, or maybe the same day, I brought like some hot sauce with me and whatnot. But it only took me, I want to say, like maybe 2 or 3 days tops to finish it all up. And I mean, they were pretty big containers. Like, I want to say they were probably about, they might have been about a quart each. And so she left the fucking receipt on them. They were like $20, $25 a piece. So not only were they big, but they were pricey. For me, that's pricey. I mean, it's $50 basically in, you know, a half gallon's worth of ceviche. That's a lot for me. And then, you know, it's like, it was a lot of food to deal with, and then also not really knowing exactly how to consume it and how best to consume it. And so, you know, just kind of went with it the best way I could. You know, I just realized, like, I'm running out of flour of all kinds. So the best way for me to do it is probably to order some more from Smart and Final, which also means more chicken from them, which is cheaper with more. Those fuckers were big. I mean, price-wise, it's not terrible. It's also easier. So I'll just have to figure out exactly, like, because I do need to buy some stuff. And pretty soon. Like, tomorrow is obviously May 1st. I've got to pay rent. I got to figure out how much money I have. Something that's going on with my tax return, too, that I've got to fix. I don't remember exactly what it was. So, yeah. And it's whatever. I was preheating my oven earlier, and I forgot that my Dutch oven was inside it. But I mean, yeah, it didn't look too bad. Looks a decent sheen. It's not terrible. Not great, of course, but I mean, you know, it's whatever. But yeah, I had it in there for probably about maybe 30 minutes. Because I started heating it up, and then I was like doing some other shit, and you know, forgot, because that's me. I tend to be forgetful. Well, gotta do something with that starter. So yeah, toss some flour into that, some water, see what happens after I discard a little bit. Don't have any more pizza. I did do a pretty good job of it, though. And I've got it, like, kind of narrowed down as to where I want it. And I might not even worry about doing discard next time. I might just do, like, just a typical batch for 4. Store each in, you know, maybe a half or something. I don't know. Because it ended up being quite a bit. And I mean, like, okay, so one of the things that happens when you let it sit out in proof, you can, you know, it definitely gains a lot of volume. And I would hear them talk, you know, whether it be Claire or other people talking about, like, deflating it in some capacity or another, whether you shouldn't or whether you want to, depending on the type of bread and everything. And when I had it in the big bowl for a while, and I've had it sit out on the countertop for a bit to proof up, on some of the days when it was like super puffy, I could feel like, you know, just like grabbing it and pulling on it, you could feel the air bubbles inside of it popping. It was really kind of cool, actually. There was this sort of like almost cognitive dissonance, though, because on the one hand, it felt kind of cool, and you know, knowing that that thing was what it was happening and all that, but at the same time, you kind of felt bad for destroying it. It's like, I didn't want to do this. But yeah, it was pretty fascinating. Just reading on the thing. Avoid suffocation. So one more filter left. Got a decent amount of seasonings. I threw in a touch of clove this time as well, and then also this time I didn't throw in a massive excess of fucking baking soda like I did last time. Last time I put in a whole half of a tablespoon when I was supposed to put in half of a teaspoon. Yeah. Oops. So I was supposed to put in half of this size, and I put in a whole, I don't even know if I have it on up here. Maybe I do. Let's see. It's possible. But I mean, you know, like roughly 3 times as much as I should have, because 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. It's not falling. Man. So I basically put in 1.5 teaspoons, and so 3 times as much. So yeah. Anyway, tomorrow I'm gonna do another one of the HelloFresh recipes. I'm thinking of doing the spaghetti. This is Italian chicken over lemony spaghetti. This time I'll try to read through it first. Large pot, zester, strainer, large pan, paper towels, kosher salt, black pepper, olive oil, cooking oil, butter. Oh, olive oil and cooking oil, whatever the hell that means. Trim and quarter zucchini lengthwise, cut crosswise in 1/2 inch thick pieces, peel minced garlic. Once water is boiling, add spaghetti to the pot, cook, stirring occasionally until al dente, about 9 to 10 minutes. Reserve a cup of the pasta cooking water. Usually you only want to reserve like 1/4 of a cup. Heat a drizzle of olive oil in a pan, preferably non-stick. Pan over medium-high heat. Add zucchini, cook, stirring occasionally until brown and softened. Season, transfer to plate, wipe out pan. Meanwhile, pat chicken dry with paper towels and season all over with Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper. Once the zucchini is done, heat a large drizzle of oil, same pan. Add chicken, cook until brown. Both sides, turn off heat. Transfer to cutting board to rest. Make the sauce. Heat a drizzle of olive oil in a pot used for spaghetti over medium-high heat. Add garlic, half of the lemon zest, and a pinch of chili flakes. Cook, stirring until fragrant. Stir in 1/2 cup of the reserved pasta stock water, cooking water, stock concentrate, and juice from 2 lemon wedges. 4 wedges for 4. Add drained spaghetti, zucchini, sour cream, 1 tablespoon of butter. It's a pot with sauce, toss to coat. Add half the Parmesan and season with salt and pepper. If needed, stir in more reserved pasta cooking water a splash at a time until spaghetti is coated in creamy sauce. Toss between bowls, top with chicken, remaining Parmesan, remaining lemon zest, and a pinch of chili flakes if desired. Serve with any remaining lemon wedges on the side. Sounds tasty. And I'll be honest, like, those tacos I had yesterday were fucking good. Like, each one of them was like, oh. It reminded me, like, okay, so part of this, you know, pan of mine, you know, it's possible that at this point I need to take a steel wool and just scrape the living shit out of it on the inside, just for cleaning purposes and stuff. And I don't know, maybe I'll feel bad doing that, I'm not sure. But it's not a non-stick pan. And it may just need it. But one of the things that I used to do is I would throw in like 1 or 2 chicken breasts, cook those up in there. And then, once I was done with them, I would just like, kind of like, you know, wash it off a little bit, not crazy, I wouldn't go crazy with it, wipe it out, and then throw on, you know, some tortillas and cook them up and everything. And I would let the chicken rest on the side, but then like, whenever each of the, like a pair of tortillas, because I always use corn tortillas, whenever a pair of them would be ready, I'd just, you know, fold them together, throw in a little chicken, a little hot sauce, and, you know, some sour cream, and then that was it. And holy shit, were they so fucking good. God damn, they were good. And it reminded me of those, but like, just, it had extra stuff going on. But yeah, it's like, that's one of the reasons why I like cooking. It's like, sometimes you just do something right and it's so good. It's why I want to just keep doing it. You know, I got the pizza, you know, like the other day I accidentally, you know, I didn't put a timer up, right? And so I'm like, well, fuck, what is it? So I was just checking on it and just trying to see. Just changing the timer on this real quick. There we go. Occasionally, like, I'll hit a button after doing something and it resets the whole thing. I think it's just the battery. I don't know. Even though it's a new battery, or supposedly new. Anyway. So, how was I talking about? Talking about food, talking about doing it right and all that stuff. Oh, pizza. So I forgot to time cooking the bottom of the pizza, the bottom of the pan for the pizza to then transfer into the broiler. And it just so happened that the timing was perfect. Like, when it was done and I pulled it out and, you know, let it rest for a little bit and everything, it had a nice crispy bottom, nice and flavorful. It was so good. And I was like, fuck yes. I made this pizza myself. Fuck yeah. Like, and the sauce I made myself, you know, it's that ketchup basically. It's the equal parts tomato paste, vinegar, and salt. Oh yeah, or sugar, both of which I need. But yeah, you know, it was super good. And the fact that I got it right and I got the amounts right and everything, it was great. It was awesome. And it's those kinds of experiences that make cooking worthwhile. I was talking to my old girlfriend, because, you know, we're still friends, and she got married a couple years ago, I think. Or she's not, well, I think she's married. Yeah, she's married. I don't remember exactly how long it's been. But anyway, I had put her down as an emergency contact for the whole application and stuff. And then I sent her a text on LinkedIn. I was like, oh, hey, I put you down as emergency contact, but I use your maiden name. And she's like, yeah, that's fine, actually, because, you know, I still haven't gotten it all changed and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. We have to talk it a little bit here and there. And I was talking about food, and I was like, I'm getting better at cooking. You know, there's the, if you can recall that abomination of a hot dog. It's just like, oh yeah, I remember that hot dog. It's like, there's a reason somebody would remember that hot dog. It was bad. I mean, we were making hot dogs out of fucking crap. But I think I like put breadcrumbs together with scrambled eggs, and we didn't even have hot dog buns. We had just bread. Like, the whole thing was a fucking nightmare. These are all things that could have gone well together. It's just that the execution was really bad. Because I'm not a good improv. I'm not good at improv, especially with food. You know, having a better understanding of food does make it easier, though. It's like when I have those spare egg whites, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, just throw in a couple eggs, mix all the egg whites up, and then I'll just do what I normally kind of do, but then, you know, make a couple of changes here. Throw it, you know, instead of putting the pepper and other things that are, you know, strong on color into it, you know, just put some garlic salt or garlic powder and onion powder and salt in it. Those things aren't going to discolor it, and they're definitely going to season the shit out of it. And then you put on, if there's any other seasonings you want to put, you know, basil or thyme or rosemary, oregano, or whatever, you know, if it's paprika, pepper, put those on after the fact, and it won't look like it's gray. So it'll still look like scrambled eggs, and if it's done a certain way, yeah, they'll look a little different, but they still taste good. And that's kind of the most important part. But something looking good also does help. And these fucking hot dogs were shit. They didn't taste terrible, they just were not good. So yeah. Tired of talking, even though I haven't been talking that much today, so I'm just gonna end it. Have fun.